Hey, Mr. Roboto, back again with another video. So we're going to deviate a little bit from supply and demand today, and we're going to talk mainly about patterns and trend lines and how I use both of these to, build my edge, just another tool within my toolkit that helps me trade the market. The main trade that I'm going to be talking about are Apple puts that ended up being a win today. But let's dive right in. So here's NQ, okay? Um, and this is the pre-market action today. I'm not showing you what's happened today so far, but this is what we had going into pre-market. Okay, and we've been trading in what they call a broadening range formation. It's a very tricky formation or a pattern to trade, mainly because you see here you have a set of higher highs, higher high, higher high, higher high, and then higher high from yesterday. But at the same time, you also have lower lows, right? So lower low, lower low, lower low. The reason why this is tricky is because the market is giving you mixed signals, right? It's giving you these bullish indications, but at the same time, it's giving you bearish indications, right? It's much easier to trade if, for example, if we were trading a channel that was like this, where we have higher highs and higher lows, but that's not the case, right? So again, very mixed market, a lot of mixed signals. If you can identify that we're trading in this broadening range formation, then you're going to be able to trade a little bit, trade the market a little bit better, right? Well, anyways, so the main thing that I pointed out to my Discord this morning was that, you know, any if we do end up um, breaking out in the morning and open, right? We could have something similar happened where, last week where, um, you know, we had this sort of formation where we touched the top of the resistance the day before, and then we came down in pre-market, we consolidated, and then it ripped up and just touched the top of this trend line, but then sold off, right? So I wanted everyone in my Discord to be aware that this is a potential, right? And this is just you identifying the pattern and then seeing what's happened in the past with, very similar set of circumstances, right? Well, you know, this is exactly what ended up happening today, right? It's the same exact setup here, right? And the same thing happened, right? So we had, we reached the top of the trend line, we sold off, we consolidated in after hours, and then in market open we ripped up, touched the top of the trend line, and then we sold off, right? Well, that's exactly what happened here, and the circumstances were the same. Like I said, we went up, we had this curve, we sold off, we consolidated in after hours, and then we ripped up in market open, and then we touched the top of this trend line, and then we sold off, right? And this trend line, you know, yeah, it's easy to connect it after the fact, but really, I mean, it's here, right? So if you were just to connect it right there, you could have gotten this trend line very precisely, right? So that's just one thing that I want you guys to be aware of, right? Anytime I see 2 points, I always connect it and I'm looking for that third connection, right? A lot of times you can get very precise entries at the top of these trend lines, right? Um, well, so when I saw this, we hit this top of this trend line, we started getting this rejection. What am I looking for? I'm looking for, a stock that has potential weakness that I can go ahead and short myself. I mean, the Q, if you wanted to short the QQQ, that would have been a good short also. I ended up choosing Apple. In hindsight, it wasn't the best short, right? Apple had a lot of relative strength. My thinking was that if the market does sell off very strongly, that Apple had the most room to go down, right? So that's what I was gambling on. I ended up taking Apple short right around here. I didn't hold it too long, so I ended up selling some here, and then on this bounce back, I held a good portion of my shares, thinking that Apple couldn't, it wouldn't be able to hold itself up while the rest of the market sold. Obviously, I was wrong with that, so I did end up getting stopped out for a little bit less profit for the remaining amount of my shares right here. This is about the point where I realized, oh well, actually, Apple does have relative strength. But yeah, this was a good trade, and I took this trade again off of my analysis on NQ. When I saw NQ selling off, I decided to take Apple puts. Wrote it down, and yeah. So yeah, that's the main thing I wanted you guys to talk to share with you guys. Look for these patterns, right? Look in the past history of the stock. If you see a very similar setup, right? All the circumstances here are the same. All the circumstances here are the same, right? There's a good chance, right, that history will repeat itself. Okay. All right, that's it. If you want to know more about this stuff, you want to know a little bit more about my edge and how I like to trade, you can visit www.supplyanddemandzones.com to learn more. Other than that, I'll see you at the next video. Thanks.